Everyone wants to know lease, finance, or buy, which is better for taxes? And how do you actually write it off? Here's the truth. The IRS doesn't care how you pay for it. They care how you deduct it. So stick with me because I'll show you how each choice works with real numbers, so you never leave money on the table again. In the first episode, I spoke about the same thing, but from an individual perspective. Today, we're going to focus more from the business perspective. So before I get into today's segment, I want to first define two terminologies for you, which I will discuss later. One is called Section 179 depreciation, and the other is bonus depreciation. So Section 179 is basically a U.S. tax provision that lets businesses immediately deduct the cost of qualifying business assets like vehicles, machinery, equipment, and software, and so on, instead of depreciating them over several years. So you take a huge depreciation right away expense, right? So you can write that off. And bonus depreciation is a tax incentive that allows businesses to deduct a percentage of their eligible assets immediately in the first year they place in service. So I think for this current tax year, it's 60%, and next tax year it's going to be dropped down to 40%, if I recall correctly. Before we go any further, once again, make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment if you have any questions, and remember, this content is for educational purposes. Please make sure to do your own research. This is not legal, tax, or financial advice. So let's get ready to rock and roll. How they work together, how you can put Section 179 and bonus depreciation together is you apply Section 179 first, you exhaust that, right, which is limited by your taxable income, and then apply the bonus depreciation to whatever's left. But let's get straight to the real meat of the this session today. So let's look at the first part is leasing and tax deductions. The first thing that I want to discuss. Lease payments are usually 100% deductible if used for business, right? Think about that, right? It's 100% deductible, so you can write it off 100% if used for business. So a lot of wealthy people do that. They don't even buy their cars because they lease in it and get in the write-off, right? So it's easy to calculate. Monthly lease equals monthly deduction, right? So it's great for predictable tax planning. Example would be, let's say $800 per month lease would equals $9,600 deduction annually, right? Which can be deducted annually. And then the other area is the financing and tax deduction. Right? Deduction comes from depreciation and loan interest. You can deduct the interest expense and the depreciation, right? You depreciate over the life of the car. So you don't deduct the principal of the loan, but you can deduct the interest. So bonus depreciation in Section 179 can accelerate that deduction if you want to deduct it earlier in the first few years. So for example, a $40,000 vehicle finance, right? You first year deduct up to, the limit, and then the second year you begin to deduct at a lesser rate. And so buying outright and tax deductions, right? So deduction comes from Section 179 of bonus depreciation. Right? Potential to deduct the entire purchase, right, in year one if qualified. It's great for high income years when you want to slash your taxable income. So example would be, let's say you buy a $70,000 SUV outright, and then you can deduct $70K in the same year as Section 179 if you have a lot of income that year, right? And then I think the winner for tax savings will be buying, right, equals biggest upfront deduction, right? Leasing, right, this is simplest write-offs, and financing equals balanced deduction spread out, right? So the winner depends on the timing. So if you want huge deductions this year, buy. If you want predictability, lease, all right? Because you can't take Section 179 or bonus on a lease vehicle, right? Because a lease is pretty much set and fixed, right? So it's not like, like buying. So when it comes down to taxes, the strategy isn't just lease, finance or buy. It's about matching your business's cash flows and tax bracket. Okay, so comment below which option will you save you the most money? Which option will save you the most money this year? I'd love to hear the situation. And if you want real world tax strategies explained simply, hit the like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. More videos just like this one are on the way. So, but just to talk to you further, a lot of I know someone who is very affluent who this family, they work for a major corporation, and they were used to be an executive at that organization, but the father retired, and he and the family, they don't buy cars. Okay, they don't buy cars in their own personal purchase. They buy their cars or lease their cars or buy it through a business, and they deduct in it the lease or the purchase or the depreciation of that vehicle. So they are always ahead, and that's why the rich gets richer, right? And the poor get poor because the poor doesn't know all these strategies, right? The rich gets this information, they get this knowledge, they get the best tax advice, they get the best accountants, right? And they continue to exercise things that can get them ahead, right? So that's why I want you to learn, right, by listening to videos like this and Empower Capital, to learn all the strategies of the 1%, and to also make good use of them, right, to help you as well, right? Because I think everyone needs to learn these strategies, whatever tax bracket that you're from, it doesn't matter, right? I think the main thing is starting small, starting where you're at, and continue to build from there, right? Don't say, oh, I'm too little, I'm too insignificant, it's not gonna make a big difference. No, you start practicing now. Remember, it wasn't raining when Noah was building the ark, right? What does that mean, right? He was preparing for the rain, right? So sometimes you have to prepare in advance, you have to prepare in faith, you have to prepare, right? Because preparation, when opportunity meets preparation, some people call that success. So yeah, so be prepared and gain the knowledge, and start exercising it into your life now. All right, take care, and hope you have a wonderful day. This is a short segment today, and stay blessed. We love you. God bless you, and remember, you can, you will, you must.